You all. It seems to be the separation between Jeannie Mai and Jeezy is getting truly dreadful on the grounds that new subtleties are beginning to arise that just completely exposed their marriage issue and took the show from being plain chaotic to being absolutely crazy. The Jeannie truly stepped out on Jeezy. And for what reason did Jeezy bushwhack Jeannie and cooperate as an obedient husband, meanwhile plotting the separation despite her good faith? Truly, there is a ton of he said, she said, wild bits of gossip. So how about we separate this wreck? In the event that you all haven't heard, rapper youthful Jeezy sought legal separation from Jeannie 2 or 3 days prior, and it had the web thinking about what turned out badly in light of the fact that they generally seemed like that charming couple who was fixated on one another. Individuals quickly began considering Jeezy the casualty due to the unexpected way Jeezy sought legal separation and his set of experiences of leaving his accomplices when they had a child. And learned to expect the unexpected. Evidently Jeannie observed that she was getting separated alongside most of us since she was totally sucker-punched that Jeezy had been plotting to separate from her for quite a long time. This made Jeezy seem to be the blameworthy party, since how in the world do you seek legal separation without having a discussion about it with your accomplice? Individuals felt frustrated about Jeannie along these lines and in light of the amount she had forfeited for the marriage. On the off chance that you didn't have any idea, Jeannie used to be hitched to a white man named Freddie Generous. And they were hitched for a very long time before she sought legal separation. And the explanation their marriage finished was on the grounds that he needed to have children. And Jeannie had concluded that she couldn't have ever children, regardless. And assuming you are asking why, this has a great deal to do with Jeannie's childhood, since she had been a survivor of, say, the subject of having children turned out to be such a major repeating issue in the marriage that she at last needed to end it. Freddie wound up getting another person pregnant a long time later after he and Jeannie separated. And this broke Jeannie so awful that she promised at no point ever to wed in the future. She guaranteed it was a limited time offer arrangement for her. However, quick forward several years. She met youthful Jeezy. They had a prompt association that was solid to such an extent that neither one of them even attempted to front or reject that they were drawn to one another. They went on their most memorable date a couple of days subsequent to meeting interestingly, and the date was terminated. They shut down a sushi cafe for a really long time and when they left, they didn't believe the date should end, so they went salsa moving. The whole day wound up enduring over 8 hours. So I stroll in, I plunk down, and after 4 hours, we shut down the sushi eatery. We had the most astonishing profound discussion about our most noteworthy illustrations throughout everyday life, our most noteworthy errors. It was really powerless, isn't that so? So then from that point onward, he takes a gander at me and he's like, yo, you need to as, I don't have the foggiest idea. I would rather not return home. Would you like to go salsa hitting the dance floor with me? They began dating formally several days from that point onward, and it was all daylight and roses since we got to see a charming, weak side of Jeezy that we didn't frequently have the foggiest idea. I need to let you know that getting to know Jay, you all know him as Jay-Z's. Jay to me, getting to realize him has been one of the most gorgeous encounters of my life. You all expertise Jeannie swore that marriage wasn't her thing and that she was at no point ever going to get hitched in the future. All things considered, it didn't require a ton of exertion from Jeezy to alter her perspective. And when he proposed to her after under 2 years of dating, she was glad to say okay, they got hitched in 2021 and their relationship kept on blooming. Things were so adorable for them. And once more, Jeezy figured out how to persuade Jeannie to surrender another of her standards kids. Under a year into their marriage, he persuaded her to have messes with him, and she got pregnant and invited their girl, Monaco, in 2022. Presently, it was as of now that individuals began conveying cautioning messages to Jeannie, requesting that she be cautious with Jeezy on the grounds that he didn't precisely have an incredible track history with his other child mothers. His child mothers could do without him so much. And in the event that they're not hauling him to court for neglecting to pay kid support, he's calling them broke and hungry. So individuals maintained that Jeannie should be cautious, particularly since it seemed as though he was the person who forced her into having children. However, at that point she generally asserted that things were simply amazing among them and guaranteed that she recently realized that they were intended to be together. We're developed. We're in our 40s, and my thought process is that God some way or another dealt with our timing, so we invested energy after our drawn-out connections. We both came from long-term connections, and we truly chipped away at ourselves to truly understand what solid love is like. She was clearly fixated on her little girl, and she even asserted that she was available to having more children with Jeezy someplace down the line who come from a major family. And Jay-Z's family is enormous and it resembles it simply everyone. So I'm figuring you should add a kin to the family. Could it be said that you are checking that out? This resembles the time. So we are available to it, yes. Goodness, yes. By all accounts, things were amazing between them. They had the ideal little family and were available to making more children. They were both doing great in their vocations and stuff like that. So envision how stunned we were the point at which we randomly figured out that Jeezy petitioned for legal separation from Jeannie unexpectedly. All things considered, it was random to us and to Jeannie too. Yet, it wasn't something very similar for Jeezy, in light of the fact that it just so happens he has been arranging the separation for quite a long time. Nature. Part about this is that despite the fact that Jeezy realized that he was wanting to leave Jeannie, he expressed nothing to her for quite a long time. As per spilled court reports, he previously drafted the legal documents back in June and even had it marked and authenticated in those days, and that implies that he had known for somewhere around 90 days that he was leaving her. And he expressed nothing until he formally recorded this September in trust. Jeannie had no clue she was being served legal documents on the grounds that a couple of days before he recorded, she made a charming post on Instagram with her child praising the outcome of Jay-Z's new book. She composed, "Today, I praise a noteworthy achievement accomplished by my husband Jeezy, whose diary difficulty available to be purchased, has taken off to the New York Times hits list. This second isn't simply a demonstration of your scholarly abilities, child, however an acknowledgement of your capacity to motivate through the force of narrating. I'm perpetually thankful for your voice in this world. Respected to stroll adjacent to you, my affection." So what in the world could compel Jeezy to record from such a strong spouse? There are a great deal of reasons. And the one explanation that the web is going crazy with is that Little Miss Steady spouse was supposedly betraying Jeezy during their marriage. Do you all recollect when she offered this very dubious remark? "You dated person of color. Cherished people of color?" Indeed, I did. Be that as it may, as far as I might be concerned, dull meat as an afterthought white keeps me mean and lean, you know? That is the reason I wedded white. Indeed, turns out that she wasn't kidding when she said that on the grounds that purportedly she was going behind Jeezy's back with her co-have, Mario Lopez.